Hello friends, and welcome to Golarion in Depth, a look at the lore and mythos of the Pathfinder universe. Today's installment is a complimentary video to No Nat 1's video on the dwarf ancestry. If you are planning to play a dwarf in Pathfinder 2, check out his video for details on the mechanics of playing the ancestry. The link is in the description below. This video will explore the lore of dwarves in Golarion and will add flavor to your character in the Pathfinder setting. So, without further ado, Dwarves of Golarion. Dwarves are native to Golarion, and more specifically to the Darklands. The dwarves believe that the god Torag created the world at his great forge, striking it with his hammer to shape it as he desired. He also created the dwarves, made of stone, with bellies full of fire. He gave them the prophecy that one day the earth would shake, and they would leave their darkened homes to press upwards. For thousands of years the dwarves lived in Narvoth, the upper level of the Darklands. Although Torag is the most well-known of the Dwarven deities, he is not the only one in the Dwarven pantheon. Dwarves also worship Angrad, the Forge Fire, Bolka, the Golden Gift, Drangvit, the Depth Miner, Duergar, the Darksmith, Fulgrit, the Watchful Mother, Grundanar, the Peacemaker, Coles, the Oathkeeper, Magrum, the Taskmaster, and Trud, the Mighty. In negative 5293 AR, meteors fell to Golarion in an event called Earthfall. This event destroyed much of the surface lands and shook the earth below. The prophets of Torag saw this as a fulfillment of prophecy. In negative 5133 AR, the dwarves began the quest for Sky, a migration to the surface of Golarion. Yet, the dwarves had other problems. In negative 5153 AR, scores of orc clans united their hatred of dwarves and ambushed a dwarven front at the Battle of Basalt Grim. Thousands of dwarven non-combatants were killed in the attack. Many dwarves abandoned the quest for Sky to pursue vengeance. But General Targak was afraid that abandoning the quest would mean that all of their suffering would be in vain. The dwarven clans were eventually unified under General Targak, and the migration continued. Unfortunately, this also drove up their orc enemies to the surface. The dwarves emerged in negative 4987 AR during the Age of Darkness. The dwarves established vast fortified cities called Sky Citadels. The first Sky Citadel was Golarion, built at the very site where Torgak saw the sky for the first time. This sky was full of ash kicked up from Earthfall, and Golarion was covered in darkness. But this was not a problem for dwarves with their natural ability to see in the dark, nor was it a problem for the orcs. For nearly 1,000 years, the dwarves and the orcs fought savagely and relentlessly. In negative 3708 AR, the orcs successfully invaded Golarion at the Battle of Nine Stones. Thousands of years later, the orcs still have control over the site and have established Duergar as their unofficial capital in the hold of Belkzen. Not all dwarves rose to the surface during the quest for Sky. Dwarves that stayed in the Darklands found their numbers dwindling. They would have all but been destroyed by the denizens of the Darklands, if not for the evil dwarven god Duergar. He offered protection in exchange for devotion, and the desperate dwarves agreed. Duergar also gifted them with magic and the ability to train giant spiders and beetles. These dwarves became known as the Duergar, meaning gray-faced in Dwarven. Today, dwarves can be found throughout Golarion, although the vast majority live in Five Kings Mountains. Many dwarves believe this to be the center of dwarven culture. Dwarves are great lovers of tradition, but even now is becoming influenced by human, gnomish, and elven cultures. Dwarves spend most of their time crafting, fighting, or building fortifications. These have been characteristics of dwarves since Torag gave them breath. Dwarven society is traditionally divided into numerous clans. Each clan is associated with a particular gemstone cut in a specific shape. Additionally, dwarves also forge special daggers in preparation for an infant's birth, called clan daggers. These daggers are used to cut the newborn's umbilical cord and are gifted to the dwarf when they come of age. When the dwarves marry, they often create sheaths for their partner's daggers, bearing their own clan's gem. To be found without your clan dagger is dishonorable, and to sell your clan dagger is taboo. Dwarves are incredibly hard-working and tough. They see other races that do not share these traits as being frivolous or even degenerate. They often see elves as the worst example and consider them cowards for abandoning Golarion following Earthfall. They have long been enemies of orcs and consider half-orcs just as bad. The dwarves are slow to trust those outside of their kin, but once it is gained, it is a trust that is as strong as iron. Dwarves are short and stocky. Although a foot shorter than most humans, they are still considered a medium-sized race. Dwarves of all genders pride themselves in the length of their hair, which they often braid. Some hairstyles are specific to their clans. Dwarves typically reach adulthood around the age of 25, but their clans typically have unique traditions to make the coming of age. A typical dwarf can live up to 350 years of age. Dwarven history is vast and full of many conflicts. I feel that I have covered enough for now, but I am just scratching the surface. Consider this an introduction to the Dwarves of Golarion. You can find more information about dwarves in The Siege of Stone, Book 4 of the Iron Fang Invasion Adventure Path in Pathfinder 1st Edition, or Fires of the Haunted City, Book 4 of the Age of Ashes Adventures Path, and Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Please remember to subscribe for more content about Golarion and leave a comment to tell me what topics you want me to cover next. Thank you for watching, and remember to check out No Nat 1's video for the mechanical advantages of playing a dwarf in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We will see you next time on Golarion in Depth.